It has been a very cold start to January, and in parts of the UK there has been disruptive snowfall as well. In fact, after the first 10 days of the month, the Weather Outlook temperature tracker is running at 1.4 Celsius. That's 2.4 degrees below the 1961-1990 norm and a massive 3.3 degrees below the 1991-2020 average. But change is on the way. The animation illustrates what's going to be happening. The mottled shaded area shows the track of the jet stream. It heads to the north of the UK. In turn, that allows a much milder air mass to start returning from the southwest. What does that mean in terms of temperatures at the ground level through the middle third of the month? The data table here, generated using the GEFS model, helps to provide the answer. It shows forecast maximums and minimums for London through the next 16 days, each column representing 1 day. The points to note are that light green dominates for daytime maximum, so runs of between 6 and 10 degrees, and the overnight lows are dominated by dark green, so minimums of around 1 to 5 degrees. So possibly still quite cold on some nights, a risk of patchy frost. Much will depend on the extent of cloud cover, with high pressure being close to the southeast. Anticyclonic gloom could well be returning. Up to Glasgow, in the short term, if anything, it's a little bit mild. That milder air mass returns here first. But in the longer term, from around the 20th of the month, there is a signal for it to be turning colder once more. In fact, the overnight lows show quite a lot of blue shading those runs which are dipping below freezing point. So something to keep an eye on. The development of pressure patterns through this period is quite interesting. On the 16th, the dark oranges are covering the UK. Those are runs going for very high pressure, essentially. But running the animation, what we see is the dark greens start to be replaced by yellows and oranges in southern and central regions. And in the north especially, some runs are bringing in the green shading. Those are low pressure dominated runs. By the 21st, here's a static snapshot, indicating that although high pressure may well still be having a lot of influence, especially across southern and central regions, there is that suggestion, at least in the north, that low pressure could be returning. That could also lead to a colder air mass pushing back in across the northern half of the UK. On this chart, the blues and particularly the dark blues indicate colder air aloft, so a greater chance of colder air returning into the north. In summary, the middle third of January, settled, temperatures recover, but it could stay chilly in the south. There's that chance of patchy nighttime frost, maybe fog too, depending on the extent of cloud cover. More changeable perhaps later on, particularly in the north, and that's where it could be turning colder as well after that mild start. So that's more or less it, but don't forget to stay up to date by checking out the Weather Outlook website. Also, look out for my more in-depth 14-day forecast video, which will be released during the middle of the week.